Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Flying Turk review. Today we're taking a look at the PMDG DC-6. And I know this plane has been out for a very long time, but it was finally time to pull the trigger on this one. I've been looking at it for a very long time and I decided, 2024 is coming out. I hope this one is supported. I thought, let's just go for it. And since I have it, I wanted to do a review for you guys, to give you my opinion on this plane, to tell you what I think about it, and so you have an idea if it's worth getting or worth skipping. But before we start this review, let's talk about the Douglas DC-6. The Douglas DC-6 is a piston-powered airliner and cargo aircraft built by Douglas Aircraft Company from 1946 to 1958. So production started just after World War II, after the success of the well-known DC-3. Originally intended as a military transport near the end of World War II, Douglas reworked it after the war to compete with Lockheed Constellation in the long-range commercial transport market. And surely they did. This plane has been, well, I don't want to say a great success, but it has been a success overall. It's the successor of the DC-3, so airlines were prone to getting this one, even though the Lockheed Constellation was technically faster and had, you know, good capabilities. Airlines generally preferred the DC-6 because it was, well, like I said, the successor of the DC-3. It had already a great name. Yeah, like it had made a great name for itself, So it was more relevant for airlines to getting this plane. In the simulator, it has been developed by PMDG, and gotta say, PMDG never disappoints with the aircraft, at least for me. There are some people that have issues with it, some performance issues here and there with the 737s, but with the DC-6 I have had none. Not with the D737s as well. Well, maybe the 800 sometimes likes to lag around. I don't know why. With the other ones I don't have it, but let's focus on the DC-6 today. This plane has 4,100 nautical mile range. So you could fly across Atlantic, you could start in New York and end up somewhere in Amsterdam easily. But for the people that are curious, we are at Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen Airport. This was the old hub of Turkish Airlines, and we are with the Turkish Airlines livery as well. This is the old pyjama livery. Gotta say, I love this livery. It is just nostalgic. The old logo, the stripes, the coloring. It has something going for it that just speaks to me. It might be also the plane that really suits this livery, but anyways, you can see some Turkish Airlines planes to the right of us. This is the modern livery and this is the old one. You can see the evolution, which is kind of nice. Like, you can see where the design elements come from, but I wish they had these lines as well. I don't know, I think it has something going for it. But you can even see the red wingtips. These one have the red wingtips as well. Like, a lot of design elements have been carried over. But say the new livery also looks very beautiful. It's very simple, I know. It's just a white body with tulip, Turkish Airlines, and a few red wingtips and a rudder. But anyways, I like it. The old one I like as well. And the DC-6, I have heard some people hating it, John Carter, I'm referring to you, my friend, that you have to enter from the back, and that's a big disappointment. Well, honestly, mate, I don't care if you have to enter from the back or from the front. You enter still the plane, and you go to the same destination. It doesn't matter. And gotta say, this is a true beauty, guys. The DC-3 is a bit meh because it's a tail dragger. I don't like that one so much. But this one, like, I think they call this a tricycle setup, with like two main landing gear over here with a nose wheel over here, similar to modern aircraft. I don't know. This one is a breeze to fly, breeze to land. You can feel that it's very heavy. It's not a small plane. The DC-3 takes off and lands a bit easier, but this one, oof, you can feel the heft of it. And let's move into the review of the plane. Let's take a look around it. Let's take a look at the main landing gear. This is the main landing gear bay. Has been modeled nicely. Not Nothing too crazy inside. It's like photo-ish textures, but generally the main landing gear or the nose landing gear itself looks very good. You can see it moving up and down with the wind hitting it. It's a lovely, nice detail that FS Realistic adds. Here we have the GPU card, by the way, the old school battery that just plugs in over here. You can see it has some blocky-ish textures, you know, like it's not extremely sharp like the 737, but overall it's looking very good. Nobody's gonna get this close to it, you know. Generally you see it from this distance and it looks amazing. The tires look also very good. They don't have that glazy-ish texture on it. The parts that should be shiny are shiny. The parts that should be matte have a texture on it and are matte. You know, you cannot see that much depth in it either if you get too close to it, but from a distance it looks perfectly good, guys. I like it. The overall body is also nicely bemodeled. You can see the pitot tubes over here. Like, they don't have openings in the end, but that doesn't matter. Like, from this distance they look good enough to me. We got this radar thingy on top. We got another pitot tube facing rearwards. Or pitot tube, I don't know how to call it, but we can find it. Some little issue with it. Like, there's textures disappearing anyways. These are our two pilots in the cockpit. We have the twins as usual. We got these thingies over here, no clue what they are. Flush static ports, it states on the bottom. The text is not really readable, but that's fine. Like, I don't care about it so much. This is what I care about, the propellers and the engines. And these have been done very nicely. We can see some detailing inside. We can see the radial engines over here as well. Like, you can see the piston heads over here. The cones for the propellers look also nice. Cowl flaps have been nicely modeled. They move in and out. Oh, by the way, we can warp inside and see a little bit of the inside. You can see the exhaust pipes coming over here. I really don't know where they lead to. Ah, they lead to here, to the top. So you can see the exhaust dirt over here. I don't know how they call it. CO2, dirt, something like that. You can see it on the bottom as well. This livery doesn't have it that much. This is practically clean. But there are some liveries that, like, they extended the dirt over the wings like they've never been cleaned. Some even added them over here at the stabilizers. Yeah, propellers also look very nice. Can't complain about any of this. You can see the air intakes on top of the engines also have been nicely modeled. You have another air intake on the bottom. Let's take a look at the main landing gear. Same tire design. I love these hydraulic lines moving up and down. I love the shiny part as well. Like this flap thingy. Main landing gear bay, yeah, has the photo textures inside as well, like not modeled really, but still looks good, guys. I cannot complain about this. It's PMDG, eh? Performance is good. It behaves nicely as well. Nothing to complain about this plane. Wings have been textured nicely as well. Like, it could have been better, but I suppose PMDG has learned with this and improved their game with the 777 and some 737s as well. Let's take a look at the windows. This plane has these square style windows, which we don't see these days anymore. I gotta say, I suppose you have a better view outside with these square windows than with the oval windows that are like rectangular, you know, like this. This should give you more of a view outside, which is lovely. Let's take a look at the rudder, which is an interesting shape. This is like a proper old school shape, like a kidney almost. And it's the Super DC-6A. This is the passenger variant. If you get this plane, you get two variants. You get the A and B. A is passenger, if I'm correct, and B should be the cargo one. Ooh, interesting thing. Don't know what that is. I love how this droops off and becomes like one with this light. Like, has a very aerodynamic design, if you ask me. Got this like tail strike protection tool over here. Like a very old school version of it. Interesting to see that, and this plane definitely needs it because sometimes you tend to pull a little bit too much on that yoke while you're trying to lift off, and the tail gets very close to the ground, and you can see it's a very long plane. For an old airliner, I gotta say it's very big. Like, it's the size of a 737 if you can see it. Even a bit larger than it. But yeah, you can like fly 4,100 nautical miles, so it should be, eh? Okay, let's move into our cockpit and afterwards we will show you the cabin. This is where the magic happens, guys. This is the cockpit of a DC-6, which is just wow. Like, so many gauges and buttons and name it for an old school plane. I love it for what it is. It's interesting and quirky cockpit. If you know how to fly the DC-3, if you're familiar with those systems, you will feel kind of familiar in this plane because it borrows a few things here and there, but it's a completely brand new cockpit, guys. Not everything is the same. Like you got this overhead panel which is completely different. We have a lot of gauges over here as well. We have got the radios and we have got the GPS navigation here as well. You can change that up. I have no clue what this thing does. Like I've literally got it for a day now. I've done a few quick landings and takeoffs. I don't know how to start it from cold and dark, but we will learn that further down the road and do some more live streams with it. I'm planning on doing a live stream maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll have to see with the DC-6 where we're learning the systems and to start it up from cold and dark. Because it's PMDG, we have the checklist, of course. Oh, no. Sorry, I got confused. This one doesn't have it. So we will have to check checklist on another tool. Okay, one thing, we have the tablet, but I like to show this. We can open up the window. I love this detail. It adds nothing. Like if an open window, same thing as it closes because it doesn't change anything. But I just like it for what it is. Like I'm a Turkish guy, we tend to drive with the window open and arm outside, so I can imagine I'm doing that in the simulator as well. Anyways, this is the beautiful yoke of the DC-6. It doesn't move at the moment. Like when you have started up the plane, it's important to remove the gust lock. I think you press this one once, it moves up, and there it's liberated. You can see now it moves forward, backwards, to the right, or to the left and to the right. You can see the rudder pedals moving at the bottom as well, which have been nicely modeled. The cockpit overall has been modeled very nicely. This is the EFB. This is a very intricate plane, guys. Like you have a lot of things that you need to manage and take care of. Let's connect everything to show you how these things look. We have aircraft states as well. You can go cold and dark, ready to start, ready for taxi. We will do ready to start. And we have like a flight engineer who moves through all the steps to get it ready, which is very nice to hear. Let's open all these things up as well. What we can open. Front cabin stairs. There we go. Have to put it to cold and dark to be able to do that. Fuel and load manager. You load your fuel up from here. You load your cargo up from here. I don't know if we can import SimBrief into this plane. I've not messed with that around. I've been doing some very short flights, like one Sabiha Gökçen to Istanbul airport, just like a 10-minute flight or 15-minute flight, just taking off, flying it manually. The flight engineer, here you can get the pre-departure, before start, before takeoff, departure, name it. You can go all through all these settings and he's calling out everything he's doing so you can have an idea of, what he's doing and what you should do as well to get this plane ready from cold and dark. Maintenance, here we can see some maintenance aspects. Like you can see, I've been flying this for a very short while, so things have degraded, but you can repair them and get them to zero to have optimal performance again. And you will definitely feel if the plane, has degraded parts, like things fail and things mess up, which is very nice to see, very refreshing. Adds some realism to the sim as well. Here we can go. The engine stress visualizer. Carburetor temperature is nice. It's positive. You can see a legend or legenda on the bottom. I don't know how to say it in English. Engine not in operation. As you can see, these are out. Normal stress range, moderate range, high stress range, catastrophical stress range, cold/within icing range. There you go. So you can follow this, keep track of what's going on. You can press the PMDG button to shut off the tablet, press it again to turn it on again, which shows this nice photo of the DC-6 in the PMDG livery. And they call it the DC-6B, which is interesting. This is the A, Cloudmaster. You can go to the options over here. You can set realistic ending damage, realistic start, realistic carb icing, realistic CB failure, carburetor failure I suppose. Silence, autopilot disconnect, realistic autopilot engage, which is lovely to see. Here you can see we have Asobo GNS 430, but we can also get PMDG Bendix radios, which removes this thing, and we get this thing over here instead. So you can go from VOR to VOR, which is lovely. I don't know how to do it, guys. I have no experience with VOR flying, but if you know how to do it, well, you can definitely practice in this plane. But let's keep it at Asobo GNS 430, which makes flying on autopilot a lot easier for me at least. At least it follows the flight plan in the simulator. You can set sim rate just as in the 777 or 737 series from PMDG, and that's it. We cannot import anything from SimReef in this plane. Let's show you the outside with all the tools and thingies set up. There you can see we got the old ass pushback tug. We got the stairs extended, which are extremely long. Look at how many stairs it has. Like on a Just Flight Fokker F28 or BAE 146, it's just one set of these, and these has three. Like, insane. Anyways, you can see the doors have opened. You can see the luggage compartments. You can see the oil pans hanging beneath the engines as well for like maintenance. The stairs for maintenance. You can see this cover has opened up as well for some cargo option or cargo operation. You can see that we have a stair on the rear. And this is the stairs on the front. I suppose these are for the pilots, but passengers should be able to enter and exit from that part as well. But let's go in here and let's show you how this looks. Ooh, we got some beautiful photos over here. Lovely. This guy has added, the person that has done this livery added some photos from Turkey. We got Ayasofya. We named this Kız Kulesi. This is like a tower in the middle of the sea between both sides of Turkey, like from Asia and Europe. And these are some ancient Roman or Greece structures that are still here in Turkey. And this would be your cabin, guys. Let's go all the way to the back. There is nothing special going on in this plane, I gotta say. Like, if you go here, nothing is happening. But we have got at least a cabin. The cabin looks kind of like a FSX port. It's not the best, but I've got to say it's a million times better than Aerosoft CRJ. So I'm gonna give PMDG kudos to that. And if you do like window views and all, this is a very good one. At least it's good looking windows. You know, you can see get some nice views from the engines as well. Maybe this one is a little bit better where you can see both engines and you can see the propeller spinning. And you can see the cowl flaps as well. I don't know, I like it for what it is. You can even go a little bit more up front. This should be like first class or something. If you're going with the family, this would be a nice place to sit, I suppose. And on this side we have the normal 2x2 setup. They're all facing forward. I prefer to sit over here, honestly, but this could be a nice one as well, a different seating position. From here you have a very good view of the engines as well from first class. You can see the front of them, you can see the cowl flaps. Lovely. This door does not open up, no doors open up. Ooh, we forgot to show you one thing. Let's go quickly here. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna turn all these things off. And we're gonna show you how this plane starts up. Hey. Okay, these things are closing, and when they have closed, the slides go off. You can see the animations as well have been done beautifully. The door is closing. Lovely. I love PMDG. Never disappoints me. Okay, let's turn that to ready to start. And what we will do is, I will turn up game volume so you can hear these engines starting up. Give me a quick second.
Istanbul Tower, Boeing Echo Whiskey 527 Papa Alpha 16 miles south inbound ILS Yankee runway 6 approach. Boeing Echo Whiskey 527 Papa Alpha Istanbul Tower. Altimeter 29er 2264 at 11. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 6 approach.
quickly go over here. As soon as we start. Taxi. There we go. And the sheer sight of these four engines starting up, in sequence, is lovely. The engine startup sound could be a little bit better if you ask me. Like, it's good, but could be a little bit better. I've seen some videos on YouTube which clearly show that the sounds are very different compared to this one. Before we take off, let's show you full flaps. This is the flap lever moving down, that big yellow thing. And it's important to know that if you start up the plane, you shouldn't take off immediately because we're waiting for the oil temperature to rise. When this is on green, and then we are able to taxi. And this would be full flaps, guys. Which is insane. It's practically like stopping all the air from moving. Like, imagine it hitting here and then moving down. So it creates a lot of lift as well when you're moving it down. So keep that in mind. This plane doesn't have spoilers. It's not a jetliner, so they were not fitted with those. But it still works nicely. This. Let's see if we can do ailerons. We cannot. Gust lock has moved back in. Let's release that. This is ailerons to the left, ailerons to the right. This would be up, this would be down. This would be a rudder to the left, rudder to the right. And it moves slowly, eh? Don't expect it to like go all the way full power, like it takes its time. But you can definitely feel this thing moving when it does because it moves all the way to the left and to the right. And when you release the gust lock, you can see that the yoke is shaking up a bit, which should be normal from this plane. It's a big ass airliner, or big ass turbo. No, it's a big ass propeller airliner. It's not even a turboprop. We don't have reverses on this one, and since we have the GNS over here, we could like do enter, okay, and now it's searching for the GPS signal, connecting with the satellites. I will taxi to the runway for you guys to show you how it takes off and how it feels, so you have a basic idea. We will do a very small pattern and land as well. This will be a full review. I know it has been a long one, but I will show you guys everything of this plane because it has been requested in previous reviews, like take off and do a landing. So we have a basic idea of this plane, which has been a good idea, honestly. But yeah, so far it's a good one. And excuse me, guys, I have not showed you too much of the systems, because I have not no understanding of them. It's still, I'm still in the learning phase for this one. And by the way, we don't have pushback to get this point, so we're gonna do a throttle and turn, and let's hope we don't hit that light pole. I think we will just make it. Oh no! We would have crashed this plane already. Okay. I've got to say, taxiing this plane is very nice as well. It's very responsive. Like you can see that nose wheel turning all the way. Let's move flaps back up because we cannot take off like this. Let's set trim. We will need only flaps 1 or 2. Let's do 2 just for the sake of it. Ah no, we can do 1. This is a very long runway for this plane. And I've got to say, I really got to get used to the position of the nose wheel and where the cockpit is. Because coming from the 777 and 737, those are totally different planes. I got the hang of it a little bit, but it's still different. Still nothing like those. but it's somewhat similar as well, you know? Like, it might sound crazy, but it comes close in some instances. With maybe like the size and all, but how the wheels turns and all, totally different. Power management is totally different. I think, guys, this might be a little bit more of a realistic aircraft by PMDG. With the maintenance and with the parts that, you know, consume oil and name it. Like, it has a lot of realism going for it. It's not like straightforward, sit in, turn on, fly, you know? Like, you've got to manage your plane as well. You've got to think about the parts, the oil, name it. And we'll increase throttle slightly first. After it stabilizes, we will give her some more. Yes, we can give her some more throttle at this point. And I love the throttle configuration because the mid do stop at one point. Oh, there we go. And it has taken off. Let's move gear up. That gear up animation is also lovely. I love how they retract. Okay. Let's move flaps up. Let's move trim down as well because we have a very high angle of attack at this point. Yep, guys, that's the DC-6 for you in the air. PMDG DC-6, or McDonnell Douglas DC-6 I should say, but it has been developed by PMDG for the flight simulator. Guys, this is a very good plane. If you're into flying propeller planes, if you want something bigger, if you want something that's more challenging than the base products we have, this is probably the way to go. Like, the Lockheed Constellation is also a nice one. Can't complain about the Red Wings Constellation or L1011. No, L1049 I suppose it was. I forgot the name. The Super Connie. That one is a beautiful plane as well. But I suppose personally I think that the DC-6 is more iconic, more straightforward to fly as well. You know, it's a complicated plane. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing easy. You need to be skilled to fly this thing. You need to know how to start it up, how to deal with the systems. Like, you can do it the way I've done it as well, you know, but what I'm trying to say is it's not a beginner plane. You have to have an understanding of flight simulator and planes to be able to pilot this thing properly. And when it's going, guys, the plane is going good. I've got to say, it sounds nice, it flies nice. It feels nice and heavy as well in the sky. It's not like a toy plane. If you force it, you can do tight turns and all, but it's not really how you're supposed to fly this thing. Like, it's an old school propeller airliner, right? So we've got to be more gentle with it and think about what we're doing beforehand. Okay, we've taken off. We will slowly start decreasing throttle and making that bank to the left while we're pulling slightly up so that we can make a tight turn back to the airport. That's where we're going back. We're gonna land on the same runway where we have taken off from, just from the other side. I suppose we're landing on 06 left, if I'm correct. No clue. We're doing a quite quite aggressive bank angle, but it should be possible for this plane. Let's decrease throttle a bit more. Okay. Gotta say though, the window positioning of this plane is at least a lot better than the DC-3. The DC-3 is very difficult to look outside. Let's do full flaps at this point because we're coming in hot. Let's drop landing gear. Let's show you how this looks. Landing gear animations are lovely. There was even a way to open and close up those cowl flaps, but I don't know how to do it. I know it on the DC-3, but not on this one. Oh, you can see them clicking into place. Okay, we dropped full flaps, landing gear is down. Now let's align with that runway. Now we look aligned. Also, one detail I like is that cushioning over here. Looks very beautiful. Okay, we should give her some trim at this point because she is angling down a lot. I don't know about you guys. I'm generally a Boeing pilot in the sim. I love flying Boeing, but this is gonna be a plane I'm gonna take out a few times as well because it has a very good range. It's flying quite fast for a propeller airliner as well. It can go like 250 knots cruising speed, which is not bad. It's practically the same as the 727, so I cannot complain about that. This is a very good plane, guys. If you're into propeller planes, if you're into flying something different than a jetliner, but you still want to fly a big plane and not like a small GA plane, this is probably the way to go. There are not many planes like this in the sim, and I know a lot of people don't really like these old school planes, but I love them. They add so much to the simulator. They add, something that we don't really get with the jetliners of today. That nostalgic factor, that sound, the startup, the oil consumption, the wear and tear, name it. It has something very unique. Let's see if we can butter it. Well, at least land it nicely. Yeah, minus 102, no bad. Let's get back on throttle. A little bit off center, but still a good landing. Minus 102 is not bad. We could do better with these prop airliners. It's honestly easy to get like minus 50, minus 60, but for a quicker landing, not bad. Like it literally turned around and landed. There was nothing planned, no proper descent or anything. I didn't control it by any means. And it's slowing down very nicely. Let's turn left over here. Let's go off the runway. And we can show you how good it brakes as well. By the way, I've not braked any part of that, any part on the runway, but we brake here and it stops very quickly. It has very strong brakes for its size, for its weight, and we're not fully loaded up as well, guys. Like, oops, let's close that one up. We are at 49% fuel. We only burned 1% fuel for the takeoff, which is very good. It's a very economic plane for having 4 engines. Guys, that was it for this quick review with the PMDG 7 or DC-6. Very unique plane. Adds a lot to the sim that we didn't have. I gotta say, I like it. I hope you guys will like it as well. I hope I convince you with this review on getting this plane as well, because I have had a lot of fun and I know I will have a lot more fun with it in the coming days while we're waiting for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. If you're new to the channel and if you have enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, guys, to support me on this YouTube journey. We will be doing a lot more Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 content in the following days. Afterwards we will be switching over to 2024 on the 19th of November, so stay tuned for that. There's gonna be a lot more content releasing soon. We're gonna train more, prepare more for the new sim, because we want to be the best pilot that we can. After that, yeah, what was I gonna say? It's nothing special, guys. Like, if you enjoyed it, like I said, leave a like, support me. If you didn't like it, leave a comment on why you didn't like this plane. If there is another special plane you would like me to do a review on, let me know. And a special shout out goes to Mateus for making me able to release it or review this plane. So thank you, Mateus. You know who you are. Guys, that was it for this review. Safe flights, safe landings, and see you in the next one. Flying Turk out.